Hello. Real quick because I got stuff to do, but you enjoyed my last live about the 20s dress, so I have another dress that I am going to be putting online, and this is a great way for me to sort of document what was in my collection before I pass it on to someone else. I have a dress that's probably 1909 to 12, and let me turn it around and I will show you the guts of this one too. Okay, so here is a really cool little dress, and it is little. I'm guessing this is probably like a 22 to 24 inch waist. Hello! I found this at a really strange place with boxes full of clothing, and it's lived in my stash for a while, but it's time to move her along to someone else, so she will be going on eBay sometime in the next couple days. But this dress is super interesting. So you can see that it still retains the fuller skirt of the pre-1908 period, but it has the button details that you get once you get into the 1910s. Looks like we might be missing a button. No, we're not. It's intentionally spaced. So there's 6 buttons, and it's got the tab detail down at the bottom. But I need to zoom in here at this trim. Do you see what this trim is? The trim here, I took a little bit out with tweezers. This is hair. I burned it, and it smells like burning wool, which means that it's some form of hair. And I don't know if that means that it's horsehair, because that was a popular thing. I certainly don't think this is human hair. But there's color variations in it. And when I first found this, I was like, hey, this is really cool and old. And then I bought it and went, wait a second, what is going on with this trim? And yes, I did take a little bit out with tweezers today and burned it, and it smells like burning hair. So the rest of this is, yeah, right? What? It's really strange. So the rest of this is rayon. It's a rayon, sort of like a gimp braid. And see, this is faced with the silk. But the hair trim is very bizarre. So this does seem like a morning type of dress to me, and I know that that's really questionable about types of dress that were black, because there certainly were a lot of dresses that were black and not morning wear. But this has that flat, matte black that is really typical of then. And the purple, this either was originally black and faded to purple, which happens with some textiles, or it was intentionally a darker purple, and purple was you could add it after a certain period of mourning to your dresses. And the hair, man, that's just something else. But here we have the 6 buttons, just like on the skirt, and then on the sleeve there are 3, which have seen better days. And if you want to see how to get into the inside, I know that the quick and easy modern way to do this with costuming is to make it fasten up the back, but most Edwardian to 19 teens that I have does not fasten up the back unless it was a wash dress. The way that you would get into them would be up here at a collar. So in sewing the old patterns, you have to kind of know this already, which is why it's really great to see originals. So it wraps around and it fastens at the side back of the neck. And this is sort of like an underlap. Now this is really strange that these 2 fabrics they've aged in a different way. So either these were 2 different fabrics, or it was stored in a way where it was exposed on one side, and that's why we see all of the wear here on this outside edge, but we don't see it on the other edge. It most likely was exposed while in storage, which is why it's good to store your stuff properly and not like me. But here is, like in the 1920s dress I shared the other day. It has the under bodice that would be fitted, and this is a black cotton. It's like a polished cotton, so it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, and it's finished with pinking shears, and it has the structure to hold it in where it's supposed to be. It is completely unboned, which I find interesting. I know people talk a lot about boning in bodices, but honestly, a lot of original bodices I have don't have boning in them. So it just really depends on what type of garment you are going for. And I love how they sometimes just would leave in the basting, and they're like, oh, that's good enough. You know, we're much more fussy about our finishing than a lot of these everyday practical garments were in the past. Here they've used the salvage of the silk, and this is a raw silk. I know people get fussy about raw silks, but look, it has slubs in it. It's not perfectly flat. There are slubs to this silk. See on the outside, you can see them a little bit. It's not like our modern slubby silk, but it's definitely not a flat weave. And it looks like this has been taken in at some point, because you can see the remnants of the seam line there. And then to finish, this was just overcast to the black polished cotton. So this is the silk layer overcast to the polished cotton to finish it on the inside and keep the silk from fraying where you didn't use the salvage. Okay, let's see the armholes. Yeah, they're pretty raw. There's no finishing on the armholes. There are these ribbon loops, and this would be to hang your dress for storage. They didn't use hangers like we do today. It would damage the shoulders. So they would use these clever ribbon ties at different places to help support their dress and prevent it from getting torn at the shoulders. Okay, let me see. Is there anything else that we need to look at? I guess you probably want to see the back. Let me put my phone down. Okay, so here's the back, and it has really nice little pleats that are stitched down into place. And you can see, like most of the Edwardian and Victorian stuff, the shoulder is pushed farther back on the shoulder line. It's not right up at the tip of the shoulder like in modern clothing. They always were a little bit more towards the back. And then the armhole has a really great curve. This would allow for a lot of movement because you have the fullness here. Like, notice that there's not much fullness until you get very close to the natural shoulder, and then the fullness continues over the back, and that gives a lot of movement. And then it's got nice little plates down here, different, looks like a double set of box pleats, maybe a triple set of double set of box pleats. And that's it, guys. Wait, we should look at the hem and see how the hem's finished, because people do ask me that quite a lot. Oh, so this is a example that is actually flat-lined, and I don't see that a lot in Edwardian. So this is flat-lined. It's got the polished cotton on the inside. You can see where the buttons are attached. This is where your trim is attached, and you can see it's really quickly just basted on, like, get that trim on there. So we get a little more fussy about that today. And there is no hem facing. A lot of times with the silk, you'll see like a wool hem facing that's like a braid, and that was to help protect it, but this one does not have that. It's just the plain straight silk, although it feels like there's something in there. It might be a little bit more of the cotton. It has some sort of body, but I don't think there's any kind of stabilizer in it. It's just the cotton and the silk. All right, any questions before I go? I hope this was kind of fun. I enjoy showing my old junk. And you can own this too when I put it on eBay, probably in the next couple days. I'm trying to take pictures today. All right, how do I turn it around? There we go. I'm going to say that every time I do a video. I never remember how to turn the darn thing around. So thanks everybody for joining me. I hope this was fun. I will remember to save this, and I will put it on my YouTube live. So if you see this later and I'm talking about putting it on eBay, it's probably long gone by then. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. On eBay, you can find me at wearing-history. On Etsy, I'm wearing history. I'm wearing history.clothing for patterns. And I have wearinghistoryblog.com, so that's all me. Okay, bye guys!